Hey y'all, welcome to my first ever video on my YouTube channel. My name is Jenny, and this first video is going to be my favorite art supplies. My videos will vary between Bible journaling, watercoloring, art supplies. Just a little bit about me. I am a realtor by trade, but what I love to do more than anything is watercolor, Bible journal, anything art related. So that's mostly what my videos will be about. So this first one, like I said, is going to be my favorite art supplies. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about in my favorite art supplies is paint, because it is my favorite medium. It's what I use most of the time, no matter what I'm working on. So the paints that I have, they're not professional watercolor paint at all. I do not consider myself a professional artist. It's more of a hobby. But the ones that I have that I like the most are the Sheen Hand professional. They're called professional, but they're more student grade, I think. And so those are my favorite, and I have them in this palette here, and I just made a swatch of the different colors, but those are my favorite to use, the Sheen Hand. I also purchased a set of Daler Rowney, and honestly, they're fine. I do like painting with them. I was able to get some different colors in these than what I had in the Sheen Hand. So those are some of my watercolors. Also, these are, I think, my next favorite are the Pearlescent colors by Finetech. These go on beautifully. The finish that they have once they're painted on paper, on black or on white, is so pretty. And this is definitely a favorite of mine to use, even just to give accents or to do an entire painting with them. A big favorite. Also, I have 7 of these Prima watercolor palettes. And this is my most recent one, the Woodlands. You can tell because it's nice and clean, and I haven't used it that much. But I really like the colors in this. The problem was I got tired of opening 7 of these tins every time I wanted to watercolor. So I got this one that holds 48. And I put all of my favorite colors from all of the different palettes in here. And what I did was I just swatched them out with the name of the color and the name of the palette they came from. Odyssey, Shimmering Lights, Decadent Pies, all the different palettes that I have. I labeled them here and in the order they are in the palette. So this just makes it a lot easier for me to pull out one palette with 48 colors, all my favorite colors. So that was my solution to opening 7 different tins every time I wanted to paint. Also, I got these at Hobby Lobby. Unfortunately, I probably won't have links in this video. Hopefully in my next few I'll have those, but right now I don't have any. But these I just got at Hobby Lobby, and these are the Prima watercolor metallics. And I like these as well. Not quite as much as the Finetech, but these are good still if you're looking for metallic, pearlescent, in a good price range. That's a good one, the Prima marketing metallics. This one I just got, it's just kind of fun for travel. It's a pastel set, and it's really easy to use. It came with a water brush. I did swatch out the colors. I don't have those right here, but that's a fun little one to travel with. This is also a big favorite, the Gunzai Tambi. I have used this one quite a bit. I always get a little bit sad when I start seeing white in the bottom of a pan. It means I need to replace it soon. I'm not even sure if you can get individual replacements for these. But I love this set. The colors are so vibrant and so bright and beautiful. I use these quite a bit. What also I'm going to try to do in some of my later videos is not just show you the supplies, but show you what I've done with them, so you can see an example of things that I've painted with each individual paint set. Some of the ones painted with these are so pretty. The colors are really pretty. And then this is just a cheap palette that I ordered for mixing colors. I have favorites, so it's usually the same colors in here, but I like this one. It works really well. At first the color beat it up quite a bit, but the more I used it, the more smooth it got, and it doesn't really beat up now when I try to use it. Now, whoops, just fell. Okay, So these are not really watercolors, but honestly, they are like watercolor pencils on steroids. I absolutely love these Inktense pencils. I got a set of 72, and they go down on paper beautifully, and then when you put water to them, the color just intensifies so beautifully. These have become a favorite. I'm using them quite a lot in coloring books and different things. I'm really enjoying that set. Now, something that I want to venture out in that I have not tried yet is gouache. I just got this really inexpensive set at Hobby Lobby. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it because I have no experience with it, but I am looking forward to trying the gouache. It looks fun, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, on to paper. I got this, I think, about a month ago, and I really like it for landscape pieces because you can put the water and the paint on, the paper takes it really well, let it dry, and very minimal warping when the paper comes off. I really like that, the cold press watercolor paper. I also frequently use the Inktense XL watercolor paper. I like that. It's just easy, it works well. I've used this this is mostly what I use for my watercolors. Ours is a little more expensive, so when I just want to do something fun and fast, I reach for the Inktense XL. Also, I like to do a lot of lettering. So I like this paper because it can take watercolor, not as well as regular watercolor paper, but it does take watercolor. And then if I'm doing like a wreath or something and I want to write on the piece, it's a lot smoother to write on than watercolor, which is why I like this. So I can do a watercolor piece and then do some lettering on it as well. And the lettering pens just work much better on this paper than on watercolor paper. Every now and then I'll do some stuff in the mixed media, you know, because it does take watercolor, not quite as well as, you know, watercolor paper, but it's nice to have just for sketching and drawing and whatever painting I want to do. The paper that I like to use to practice my lettering is this Rhodia. It is so smooth. You're not going to have to worry about it damaging any of your Tombos or any of your pens. This is what I like to use for practicing my lettering. Also, I got these metallic Derwent pencils. Now, these are not, I don't think they're Inktense. They don't spread at all like the regular Inktense pencils, but they are still pretty. So I've done a few things with these, but they're not as nearly as intense as the regular Inktense pencils. Also have the Prismacolor Color Erase, and I have lots of regular Prismacolor pencils, but I like the Color Erase because I make a lot of mistakes. So I can sketch out something or try to draw something in these, and it doesn't erase completely, but it's better than a regular color pencil trying to deal with mistakes. So I do enjoy drawing and sketching with the Color Erase pencils. And they were very reasonable, not expensive at all. Something else I just got that I have not really used that much other than to test it out and swatch it out are the Peerless watercolors. And I love the colors. They're just very vibrant. And I mean, these things are going to last forever. So I'm looking forward to trying those. I'm mostly going to use this for a travel palette as well. But as you can see, I do love my watercolors. And speaking of watercolors, let's talk brushes. My favorite brushes, the ones that I reach for and that are my go-tos, are the Silver Black Velvet line. They're great brushes. I have them in 4, 8, and 12. They hold a lot of water and a lot of paint. And I just usually never have any problems with these. Another one of my favorites lately are these. I don't even know exactly what they're called. Some kind of mop brush. But I like these as well for holding a lot of water and a lot of pigment at one time. This one is, I do have a few of the Master's Touch from Hobby Lobby. Honestly, I don't recommend them because once you dip them in water a few times, the plastic on the outside tends to crack. But I love the shape of this one. Some of the florals that you can get with this shape, I believe it's called a dagger, I'm not sure, are beautiful. So I do use that one quite a bit. And then I have a few rounds. Some other things that I got lately are the Spectrum Noir sparkle pens, and honestly I use these as paint brushes because they have a brush tip. They just have a subtle sparkle in them, but the color is pretty intense. So I have the green, the pink, and the purple, and if I want to use this shade in a painting, I honestly just use it as a paintbrush because the color is pretty intense and it just adds a little bit of shimmer. Okay, and then last but not least are books. My favorite books these days. This book, of all places, I got in a little store called Five Below. And it's a calligraphy practice book. And I have just enjoyed this book so much. I think I'm maybe about halfway through it. It's really great for practicing your lettering if you want to get into lettering. It explains it and teaches it very well. And in the back there's places for projects that you can do. So I am loving this book. I take it with me a lot of places and practice with it. I also got Esther Peck's book Lush and Blooms. And I didn't bring the watercolor pad in here, but I did copy a lot of these from this book, and it's so easy, it's so simple. You can get really good results just by looking at these flowers. Of course, you're not going to copy them exactly, but this is a good book. It just gives you a really good visual to help you understand if you want to work in florals. This is what I've really been enjoying lately, the Esther Peck Lush and Blooms. This one is one my daughter got me for my birthday. It's called Everyday Watercolor, and I've just started in it, but I'm really enjoying it. Very good explanations and examples, and so I'm going to look forward to getting through this book and learning a lot more about what I like to do. Recently took my first trip to Blick's, and I stayed in that store I think for about an hour, and I won't tell you how much I spent in there, but this is one of the things that I got is a watercolor book. This one is a little bit advanced for me at this point. I'm hoping one day that I'll be able to take something from this book. Right now it's a little bit too overwhelming though. But also a coloring book that I got. Oh, this is my Inktense swatch. I swatched out all my Inktense pencils here so I could see what they look like on paper. And I keep it in this coloring book because this is mostly what I'm using in this Painterly Days flower coloring book, which I love. There's a lot of information in it. The paper holds water and pigment so well. This is the Inktense pencils. This is regular watercolor, Prima watercolor, and then I started again with the Inktense here. But this paper, both sides of it takes water and pigment so well. And I just really like this book. There's a lot of good information in it, good quality. I definitely recommend it if you like coloring. Because sometimes when you sit down, you just want to color. You don't want to have to come up with a design of something you want to paint. So just being able to color is good. So that is it for my first video on my YouTube channel. I look forward to doing more, all different kinds. And let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, I apologize I don't have any links for this one. I'll probably get them up in the later videos. Thank you.